And we are here for another episode of On the Record with Tiffany. And today I have two of my favorite guests, the executive director of SACAM, Miss Deborah Omowale Jarman, and one of my favorite gurus of tacit growth strategies, Juana Chambers Lawson.
Ooh, hello.
Hi, ladies.
Hey.
So, anything interesting been happening lately?
We got a new president-elect.
Woo! Yes, we do.
And a new vice president-elect that we're calling Black Girl Magic.
That's right.
That's right.
Once again, Black Woman Magic. So,
I love it.
did we ever think we would see this day? I mean, I know I didn't, I just couldn't have imagined it. I did not imagine that the first female, one rung from the top, would be an African-American woman.
So I believe the day could happen, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not think she would be the first woman.
I know.
That would be, and it would be African-American. After President Obama, now that was something that I didn't believe I'd see in my lifetime, to be honest.
Yeah.
Was President Obama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But after President Obama, I said, okay, it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, our first lady, showed the world how incredible Black women were. Just in case they didn't know, they knew with her. So Kamala certainly had a stage set for her, but I didn't think I'd see it.
Me either. And to have someone who is so wonderful with such a presence, a constitutional attorney. I mean, you're talking about somebody that is that understands how the country works, that actually understands how the country works, how the processes are and why they're in place, what the legal system is, and how to
That's
follow.
right.
I mean, that's an exciting thing to have someone of that caliber, especially since we've been, there are some people that think it's a great idea to have folks who have never done a job before do the job because they're thinking as well, you're going to get some fresh ideas and fresh eyes and all of this stuff. And there's some truth to fresh ideas and fresh eyes, but there is
in business.
Also,
yes.
in business.
Not in running the country.
In business, but there's also a great deal of nuance that goes on in running a country, and especially running a country when there's major problems going on. Mm-hmm. We got a pandemic happening. We got social injustice happening. You got to have some degree of decorum and an ability to unify. That has to be a part of this. So it feels like we're getting back to that. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I appreciated this sort of anti-establishment sentiment that we had going on for a while there, but I think it was totally misplaced, right? Like you said, Tiffany, at the end of the day, you want that type of innovation and the fresh eyes. You want that in business. You see a lot of your business leaders, your Jack Dorseys and, your Warren Buffetts. A lot of these people are leading businesses that are not necessarily what they studied in school, or they're not necessarily what they would be considered subject matter experts in. But the reality is that they were able to leverage the talents and the skills of those individuals who did have the subject matter expertise. They knew how to lead them to greatness, right? It doesn't work like that in politics. You already know. In politics, you go into these established sort of, governing structures. You've got people that are there that have been there for generations. And the reason why they're there is because there's just certain things about getting the job done that you just won't know. It's just like electing the president. How many people in America actually understand the process of electing a president, right? It's not just your popular vote. There's an entire electoral college process.
They don't.
What is that, right? Mm-hmm. Which they don't understand. But the people that have been there for generations, they understand it. And they, right? They're the ones who are going to ensure that the popular vote, is actually what we can realize with the electors,
It's a very, I love our country, and I love the fact that we are so nimble and that we can change, because when people vote one person in, then if you don't like it, here's what the result is. We get to decide, hey,
you're fired.
Yeah, that's it. We're moving on to another person. And that's the beauty of a democracy, is that the people have spoken. Now, what is interesting about this is that we had a bunch of people speak for the other side. So how do we pull those folks in and really hear what they have to say? Because we have to come to a consensus at some point. Work together. Like, to work together. There are some subjects that I think are non sequiturs. Equity is a non sequitur. People need a young man should not have to worry about 8 minutes and 46 seconds on his neck. You should be able to, and I don't care if you counterfeited a $20 bill, your life is worth more than a counterfeit $20 bill. So that should not even be a question mark.
Right.
And health equity, not a question mark. Those are things that have to be there.
I think one of the things that I so appreciated about President-elect Biden's speech, and even Vice President Harris's introduction, is that it was a very unifying speech.
Yeah.
It's like, we need to put this behind us and work together. And one of the things
we got a big challenge, some challenges, huge challenges.
We do. We have 10 million COVID-19 cases now. That's crazy. I mean, it's unheard of. So,
and what we see with those COVID-19 cases, they're attacking people with underlying conditions.
Absolutely.
So, yes, the numbers are disproportionately high in Black and brown people, but we're seeing the same thing happening in white people. We're seeing the same thing happening in populations that previously were thought not to be touched, like children. We're seeing children infected with the virus, and
we're seeing reinfections.
That's right.
They're not talking about that either. And one of the things you're talking about, Black and brown people. So here in San Antonio, we received about 400 people from El Paso, I believe it is, something like that, that have need hospitalization for COVID-19. So the El Paso community has about 1 million people in the community across the tiny river, whereas Mexico, there's about 2 million people. In San Antonio,
in the metropolitan area, right there.
3 million. Very good. In San Antonio, we have 2 million. In our metropolitan area, we have about 24 hospitals. In El Paso, they have 7. And how are they going to
overrun right now?
Absolutely.
They are being stretched now. So
Black
what happens as this moves forward? Because it doesn't look like it's slowing down. So if it's not slowing down, what are they facing?
Well, how much stock do you have in Pfizer?
Wow.
Right? Between Pfizer and Moderna and Arbutus and all these, I mean, we're going to have to look at regional hospital systems. We're going to have to look at it from a regional perspective. You can't do it city to city, county by county. We've got to be real serious about, looking at regions, because this is the case in Tennessee. This is the case in Mississippi. This is the case in Arkansas. The folks that are coming to your hospitals and occupying those beds, most of them are not going to be locals. They're going to be from other places.
And let's talk about rural hospitals, because really, we have the biggest challenge that we have ever faced health-wise, because the way that our system is, you can't pivot on a dime and change it. Though we've seen some amazing changes occur, the system itself, not only having 7 hospitals in an area with 3 million people who need to be serviced. How many beds are we talking about? I mean, when you think about that, like it's a frightening thought, because we don't have what we need in key areas. And though that's why people keep saying we need a national response, because we have the best military in the world. Hands down, and they can come in and literally build a hospital on a football,
absolutely,
on a parking lot, or wherever they need to build one, and increase capacity, tenfold if that's what capacity needs to be. That's why having somebody with some experience and the ability to make a decision who is decisive is very important. And I just have to say thank you to the American people for choosing health, equity, and social justice for all Americans.
That's right.
To you today. And you are listening to On the Record with Tiffany. Come back for our next segment as we will discuss our wonderful new future. What's the path and what are we about to do next? Whether you like it, love it, or hate it, come back and listen to On the Record with Tiffany.